You didn't think for a second that we were done with this wave of blue fragrances, right? Well, I hope not, and if you were, I'm right there in the same boat with you. I was hoping that now that we're moving into 2020, a whole new year, I was hoping that we would get past this Ambroxan phase, because while I do love the majority of these Ambroxan blue fragrances, I think we're all in agreement here that we have enough of them. We don't really need more of them. You know, there's no reason to own, realistically, more than a handful of these blue fragrances because, well, they all smell pretty similar and they can all be worn for about the same thing. It's nice to have a few to switch them out and change things up, but we don't need dozens of them. And it's kind of getting to that point. You know, I think the next trend is going to be ISO E Super and maybe Cashmerean, seeing how we have a few new fragrances that have been released that are utilizing those notes heavily. So maybe that's going to be the next note that is going to be taking over Ambroxan, which, you know, I don't know at this point. I mean, anything's better than Ambroxan, but honestly, I'm not really a big fan of those fragrance notes either. Regardless of that, not really related to this video, we're going to be checking out Polo Deep Blue. And if you look at the note breakdown on this one, you're going to see a very, very popular, that very famous Ambroxan note listed in the note breakdown. So I'm going to go over this one today. I'm going to tell you how it smells, if that Ambroxan note is prominent, what this kind of reminds me of, and really I'm going to tell you if I think it's actually worth checking this one out and picking this one up, or if I think you should pass on it. Now, if you've had the chance to try Polo Deep Blue, let me know what you think of it down below in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it just okay? Are you tired of these blue fragrances as well? Let me know down below. And also, I do appreciate you hitting the subscribe button, also turning on post notifications and liking the video. If you're enjoying content like this, all of that stuff helps show me that you like these types of videos, and it helps them deliver directly to your phone so you can watch them. So I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. Let's get into it. So when I first spray this fragrance on, what I get in the opening is heavy citrus. Mainly what I'm getting here is bergamot and grapefruit. The bergamot isn't too tart, it's not too sour, but it is there just enough to give it a little bit of a sourness, mixing with that grapefruit, which is juicy and somewhat bright. Bergamot and grapefruit, it's a combo that has been done for years now, and it works great. It smells pretty nice here in the opening, at least in terms of these two citruses that I mostly pick up on. And what you'll notice almost instantly is that, yeah, this is a Polo flanker. This does have that original Polo Blue DNA in there. But what you get over top of that Polo Blue DNA is this Ambroxan and aquatic touch. Now, here's something interesting about this fragrance. When I spray it on skin, I do pick up on that Ambroxan mixing with that citrus and a little bit of like an aquatic sea note type of thing. However, when I spray this one either just in the air or on a paper tester strip and I smell it, what I'll notice is that it has a similarity to Bulgari Aqua Atlantique when I smell it in the air. Like smelling that right now, it does have that overwhelmingly salty, aquatic Ambroxan type of smell like you get in the opening of Aqua Atlantique. Now, again, I only experienced this in the air or on paper. When I first tried this fragrance, I went straight for skin. I didn't really pick up on that comparison. However, as I was testing it and as I was wanting to prepare for this review, when I would spray it in the air, I would get this Bulgari Aqua Atlantique type of smell. And again, it doesn't smell exactly like it, but anyone who's had experience with the fragrance knows that it has this overwhelmingly salty aquatic Ambroxan mixture in the opening. It's very piercing, and for me personally, I love it. I love Aqua Atlantique, and I noticed that I do pick up on that here in the scent. Again, not on my skin as much though, only in the air or on paper, which I thought was kind of weird. And this always goes back to what I've said multiple times. You gotta try this stuff on skin, because you may pick this one up in a department store and you may spray it on paper, you may just spray it in the air. You may be like, oh, that's, you know, that smells like Aqua Atlantique, and then that may influence your purchase in one way or the other, only to find out that when you spray it on skin, it doesn't really have that. So that's just something I wanted to bring to your attention. If people start comparing this a lot to Aqua Atlantique, I think I saw some people voting that on Fragrantica that it smells like it. Just realize that, at least for me personally, I don't really get that on skin, but in the air there is a little bit of a similarity. Now, the opening of this fragrance, I don't mind too bad. It kind of really catches your attention. It's very bright. It's got that Ambroxan, sparkling, C note type of smell. It smells all right. However, once you start to get into the mid and dry down, and really, I mean, once the top notes dry down, it gets kind of plain to me. And after that initial opening, I find it to be pretty linear. It doesn't change a whole lot after that initial opening. The dry down smells light and airy from the musk and the Ambroxan that we're all very familiar with. And then there's also a little bit of this watery type of smell, and I believe that that's probably coming from the clary sage. Clary sage is used in a lot of fragrances, fresh or aquatic fragrances, and again, it kind of gives you this watery type of smell. And I definitely do pick up on quite a bit of that in the dry down. And honestly, the dry down falls flat for me. The dry down is pretty boring. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. It just kind of falls flat. And I find that to be true with a lot of fragrances, especially some of the new releases I've tried this year. For example, Dolce & Gabbana, the one EDP Intense. The opening was great. It really caught my attention. The dry down, just It was boring, right? And it's almost like these fragrance brands are knowing that, hey, when people spray this on in store, they smell it, the opening's going to catch their attention. They're going to want to pull the trigger on it, and then after they fully actually get into the scent, it gets boring, and that's kind of where it falls off. So dry down isn't really cutting it for me. Again, it's a little bit watery, it's a little bit musky, a little bit airy and light. It just doesn't have a whole lot of substance. With this fragrance, most of the excitement definitely happens up top when you first spray it on. So that's another thing I wanted to bring to your attention. Make sure you test this all the way through before you decide whether or not you want to purchase it, because it does kind of start to go in a different direction that may not be as enjoyable. But pretty much once you hit that mid/dry down point, it's basically the same thing all the way through. It doesn't really budge at all. It's just kind of bleh the rest of the way until it eventually rubs off your skin. And you still do get that original Polo blue similarity in the dry down. It's there, just with a little bit of a variation from these other notes that we've been talking about. So let's go and talk about when you can wear Polo Deep Blue. This is going to be another one of those versatile fragrances for the spring and summertime. Just about anything you can think of, you can wear this scent for. You can wear it to work, you can wear it to school, you can wear it going out, doing your casual errands during the day. Wouldn't really choose this one at all for a date night or an evening out. Mostly just daytime casual is what I see this one for. Could you dress it up if you wanted to? Yeah, you could. If you had like a business meeting or something where you're going to be dressed up and you want to be presentable, this could work, although I personally would choose something different. Bleu de Chanel, Eau de Parfum, Parfum, Eau de Toilette, whatever your preference is. Yeah, it's been around for a long time, and yeah, a lot of people probably wear it, but I think something along those lines would be a better alternative for dressed up, a little bit more formal. And of course, there's tons of other alternatives out there as well. I wouldn't really say this one would be the choice for something like that. Mostly summer casual here is what I see this one used for. But of course, it is clean and fresh, and it will work for about anything, so you don't have to stress it too much. Let's go and talk about performance on my skin here. And my experience has been pretty average. Longevity on my skin, about 7 to 8 hours. And that's not too bad. That's kind of about what I look for in my fragrances. If I can get it to that point, I'm good, I'm happy. Anything beyond that is kind of like a bonus for me. I don't really need it because chances are I'm going to be, wanting to spray something else on, or maybe be showering and then, it's going to be off anyway, something along those lines. I don't usually need too much more than that for what I need or what I want. You may be different though, you may want more. For me, 7 to 8 hours is good. Anything past that, 9, 10, 12 plus hours is a nice bonus. Projection on my skin has been about moderate. It does push itself out there and it will get you noticed, but it's not going to be a room-filling projection monster scent. Like for example, another blue fragrance that's very popular, Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette. That one has always been a performance monster on me, and that's easily a room filler. If you go with a couple extra sprays than maybe you normally would, that stuff will really, really push out and make itself known. So this one does not fit in that ballpark. And in terms of a lot of the other blue fragrances, not really the best performance. Dior Sauvage, Aqua Atlantique, both of those have better performance than this one. Even I think Dylan Blue outperforms this fragrance, at least on me. I get really good performance from Dylan Blue. So it does have underwhelming performance to some extent compared to the other blue fragrances, but on its own, it's not too bad. For this type of scent DNA, I think the fact that it's a little bit more reserved and quiet is a good thing, right? This is a classic DNA. This is kind of more of an older school gentleman's type of smell with this new twist on it from the Ambroxan, from the other aroma chemicals that they're using in here that you can definitely smell and know that they're prominent in the dry down. You know, it's not too bad. You wouldn't expect this to scream out like one of those more youthful blue summer fragrances. So the fact that it's a little bit more laid back here, I don't think is the end of the world. But just know if you want super, super strong performance, both longevity and projection, you're going to want to look somewhere else. Talking about the compliment factor on this fragrance, look, I mean, it's one of those blue fragrances. It's going to get you compliments. It's going to get you noticed. Is it going to work as well as maybe some of the other ones? I don't really think so. I don't think it's going to do quite as well just because it is that classic DNA, that classic Polo blue DNA. At least for the younger crowd, I don't think it's going to be as well received compared to, again, a lot of the other blue fragrances that this one is modeled after. So while it is going to have you smelling clean and fresh and pleasant, if you're strictly after compliments, there's 100% better options out there that are even more affordable than this one. Again, this one is new, so it is going to be a little bit more expensive than after it's been out for a while and has hit all the discounters and stuff like that. But there are better options. Aqua Atlantique, you can get that for like $50 or less. Dylan Blue, about the same price. Prada Carbon, about the same price. Dior Sauvage is going to be more expensive, around the $80 mark, so it might be a little bit more expensive than this one, but I think it's better bang for your buck. I just think that there are better options out there, and honestly, it makes me kind of hard for me to recommend this fragrance to you guys. I don't really think this is something you need to go out and try. Am I saying it's a bad fragrance? No, I'm not, but I am just kind of trying to let you know up front. Nothing new here, obviously. It's nothing that I think is worth going out and just blind buying off of the whim just because you want to get the new Polo fragrance. There are better ones out there, both from Polo and just in general. I don't think this is one that you should spend your money on right away. If anything, sample it first. If you end up liking it, awesome. Then get yourself a bottle and wear it because it's still a good fragrance. There's nothing wrong with it other than the fact that we have a lot of other fragrances out there, and in my opinion, a lot of other ones do tend to do it better than this one, but I'm not knocking the fragrance. If you like it, that's awesome. Wear it, it'll work great for you. But for most of you guys out there, I would say kind of hold back, save your money, and just wait it out. Don't go rushing out and trying it, or at least on a blind buy. If you sample it at a department store, that's great. I can tell you, just coming up here on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing a lot of new releases that you're probably going to want to put your money towards rather than this one. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. That is my thoughts on Polo Deep Blue. Again, it's another one of those Ambroxan-based fragrances, and while I respect it, they took a shot at it and they kind of did their little twist on it, and it kind of falls into that genre. Not too much else to say. There are better options out there. I would say wait off on this one. So again, if you've tried Polo Deep Blue, let me know down below in the comments what you think. Also, what other fragrances do you want to see me review? Again, got a lot of reviews coming up on a lot of new fragrances, so make sure you get subscribed. Get ready for that. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.